Hello everyone, this is Ronnie from YouTube. We're talking about raw food stuff on this channel, so if you're not interested, get out of here. Come in, a bit closer. The question today is about fruit and vegetables, fruit versus vegetables or whatever. So someone was saying to me, why is your festival called UK Fruit Fest? And this was their quote, when you can't do a raw diet without vegetables. Which I'm not convinced is 100% true. Depends on your definition of vegetables and whatever. I've seen a lot of people do a raw diet for quite a long time without vegetables. I do think that, well, we'll get into all this in a moment. But and someone else was saying they believe the most important part of the raw diet or of a fruit-based diet is the vegetable part of it. So why do I like to focus on fruit, and why is it called UK Fruit Fest rather than Fruit and Veg Fest or Raw Food Fest or Salad and Fruit Fest or something like that? So let's go into that. Basically, when we're talking about fruit versus vegetables, most of the things that a lot of the things you call vegetables are really fruits anyway. So cucumbers, tomatoes, courgettes, squashes. A lot of these things are fruits that people don't call, sometimes don't call fruits. And really the vegetables are things like flowers and vegetables are things of the flowers, leaves, shoots, roots, things like that. So leafy greens, cauliflower, broccoli, which are like basically flowers or parts of flowers, and beans and peas and things like that. So things of this nature I would call, but mostly we're talking about the leaves, the tender leafy greens, the flowers, the leaves basically is mostly what the vegetables are. So the reason that I am much more focused on fruit and promoting fruit and talking about fruit and calling it UK Fruit Fest is a couple of reasons. Number one, I really believe that what people are lacking in their diet is often not vegetables. I think there are lots of people out there who eat a lot of vegetables and they think that that's enough for them to be healthy. So there's a lot of people who eat a standard diet, and part of that is a lot of vegetables. You might not like how they eat the vegetables or what they eat them with, but they believe they're healthy because they eat a lot of vegetables. And often they are not. They might have some protection from the vegetables. There's definitely protection from eating vegetables to disease and an unhealthy life. But the fruit is the thing that people are eating too little of. And eating more fruit will actually change the picture of your diet completely. You can't add more fruit to your diet and your diet doesn't change. Fruit will change your diet. Vegetables, you can just add vegetables into things. It's like no big deal, there's no calories. It doesn't do much. You're probably going to boil them down to nothing anyway, so you're just going to add them into things. Vegetables will make some difference, right? But adding more fruit into your diet makes a huge difference. You're always going to eat fruit raw, so you're getting more that rawness, and you're getting fruit. You're getting calories, you're getting sugar. It's going to change how much you eat of other things. It's going to satisfy you more. You're going to eat less of other things. Your digestion will probably be a little bit different, maybe a bit uncomfortable at first for some people, but it's all good. It's part of the changing process. So I really think that fruit is the thing that people are deficient in. And the Global Burden of Disease study that was done a couple of years ago stated that not enough fruit was the biggest problem in people's diets. Not enough fruit. So not enough vegetables was also a problem, but not enough fruit was a bigger problem. And to me what I find is that people aspire to eat one piece of fruit a day or 2 pieces of fruit a day or something like that. Most people, without realising that fruit should be a meal, it should be a main part of your diet, it should be a large part of your diet, the biggest source of your calories. For our body type, it should be. So that's one thing. Another thing, I guess I just have a bit of a bias against vegetables. I was never a big fan of vegetables growing up, and I was always a big fan of fruit. So maybe that's just my own bias. I don't personally think vegetables taste good on their own. They have to be added to things most of the time. You have to have that. You get a salad dressing, but you don't have a dressing for eating fruit. Nothing really improves the flavour of fruit. It is so delicious on its own. So vegetables are always something that have to be kind of improved or processed or modified or changed. So they're not really, an ideal thing. If we want to look at the naturalness of the diet or whatever, a lot of these vegetables as well, whatever you want to say, these are completely not represented in nature as actual foods that we can consume. There's no cauliflowers, there's no broccolis, there's no things like that. And vegetables as well, in nature, could be incredibly toxic. We just don't know. We don't really have a good sense of picking vegetables and leafy greens and things like that. We are frugivores, we have a much better sense of eating fruit, I believe, and that's because we're frugivores, that's our background. Bit of thunder outside, the gods are not happy with me. But vegetables are not as flavourful to us. A lot of them don't digest as well as fruit. They don't provide calories. This is point 3. If you were stuck in a desert island, if you were stuck somewhere, stuck wherever, and you could take all these raw food leaders that don't promote fruit, and all these people that promote vegetables over fruit, and all these people that say too much fruit's a bad thing, and all these people that say fruit's good but don't eat too much of it, and all those people, and they were to be crash landed in the middle of nowhere, or maybe not in the middle of nowhere, but on a desert island or in the middle of the jungle or somewhere, and you ask them, what would you rather see when you crash land? And you put all the different food categories out there. There was cows milling around, chickens running about, fields of grain, you've got potatoes under the ground, you've got all sorts of vegetables all over the place, or would you want to see an abundance of fig trees and fruit trees? But fig trees in particular, because they really do exist in nature as part of nature, right? So what would you prefer to find, the fig trees or leafy greens? Because every single person would say fruit. Every person would say fruit is the thing, and almost every human, like instinctively, you wouldn't want, okay, I've crash landed and there's some wheat, so I can pick that wheat and I can somehow make a bread if I've got fire. It's not that cool, but I can just go and eat the figs. I can just go, and I can't even hold myself back from eating the figs. It's so part of me. It's so ingrained in my feeling. It's so beautiful to me. I'm just going to walk towards them and eat them and get them and put them in myself. We just can't help it. You just cannot help it. So all these raw food guys, all the people that said they don't promote fruit, or they don't like fruit, or fruit's bad for cancer and all this stuff, they are the same, exactly the same. They wouldn't want to find sprouts and greens and sprouts and greens, which is what some of them promote. They wouldn't want to find that, sprouts and greens in an olive tree or something. They wouldn't want to see that. They would want fruit. So there's a lot of misconceptions. But going back to that, what I'm basically saying is, whatever nutrient that you think is in vegetables that's so great, and whatever minerals you think are so amazing that are in vegetables, and I get it, we've all been told that there's minerals in these things. Okay, fair enough. Although I don't know how the minerals are so great, because the vegetables are grown in very shallow soil, and people talk about the problems with this topsoil and all that stuff, whatever. Whereas the fruits are grown on trees, the roots of the trees go further down. But anyway, let's pause that for a sec, pause that thought. They just don't provide any calories. You're going to die. Your number one nutrient before anything else is calories. That's the one you have to worry about in life as an animal. Before anything else, can you get enough calories from what you're eating to survive? Number one, calories are the number one nutrient. Any form of calories. But for humans, it's carbohydrates. And they're our main form of, should be our main form of calories. It's carbohydrates, and simple carbohydrates. It's so simple carbohydrates from fruits. So it's so simple, and you just don't get enough carbohydrates. You don't get enough calories from vegetables. So we're not vegetable eaters, but they're a complement to the diet. And to be fair, every primate eats fruits and other things. None of them are exclusive, just fruit eaters. Although I don't know if that means, you see the profile of their diet, it shows all sorts of different. Maybe that means in the times when there's lots of fruit, does that mean they just eat fruit then? Or do they always eat fruit and leaves? I don't know. Because it's not very clear. It's almost like they want to portray these animals as eating more meat than they actually do, and eating nuts and eating seeds and things like that, and eating insects. But really, when the data comes out, it's like, oh yes, 97% fruit. Oh, terrible, boring. Like, they hate that. It's like they hate that. It's so boring to them. Fruit is so boring to us. That's what I find at the fruit festival as well. It's so boring the speakers don't even want to speak about it sometimes. It's like the fruit is so boring as a topic. Oh, and I really need to tell people about eating fruit, you know. It's like, yeah. That's what people want to learn about, I think. They want to learn about the lifestyle and how much fruit to eat and when they can eat it, and can eat it at night, and is it okay to eat it combined with something else? Should you have it? You know, people have a million questions about fruit. So that's my big argument with vegetables. They can't be the superior food because they don't have supply enough calories. So people that put vegetables as a better or more nutritious food, they can't be more nutritious because they lack the basic thing of nutrition, which is calories. And if you have to add something else in to get enough calories, then you've got a deficient food. So vegetables are a deficient food. And it's not that they are a complement to the fruit diet. They're an added part of it, you know. But and you can enjoy them if you like. You know, you can enjoy them. I always find it funny when people say, yeah, a little bit of steamed vegetables now and again. I always don't know what that means, really. I don't really know what that means. But that's a secret code for something that I don't know what it means, but it means something. And yeah, so I focus on fruit because to me it's the thing people don't eat enough of. It's the life-changing food. It's the food that most closely matches what we need in our design and everything else. It's the food that is the best for us, really. It's really the best food for us. And it's so protective against disease and everything else, which isn't that exciting, but that's kind of exciting in a way. It is kind of exciting. I just think fruit is exciting. It's delicious. It looks good. It's always exciting to find new fruits. What's it going to taste like? New fruits coming into season. You can look at them. They're really interesting. You can look at fruit trees. It's a beautiful experience to be around fruit trees. So fruit to me is the focus for me. It doesn't mean you just eat fruit. It doesn't mean that we undervalue the other foods. But the idea that, oh yeah, I eat a fruit diet, but the fruit's really not that, doesn't really have much nutrition in it, so I'm going to have to eat nuts and seeds and these other things, and then add a whole bunch of superfoods in because the fruit's rubbish, you know, it's just not got enough. I just hate that attitude. To me, fruit has enough. You can eat the other things if you choose to, and I wouldn't be too worried about make sure you get this level of this and this level of that every single day, or else disaster happens. And all sorts of things that get attributed to fruit that aren't really anything to do with fruit. So, and fruit is the only food that people undereat on if they make it the basis of their diet. It's the only food that if you make it the centerpiece of your diet that people will undereat. Really is, you know. People can undereat fruit so easily. It just doesn't have that addictive effect of other plants and animal products. It doesn't have that addictive effect. So, it's all weird, it's all good. Thanks for watching. Focus on the fruit. And, you know, approximately get most of your calories from fruit. Try and go towards that. Start with fruit for breakfast, move towards fruit for breakfast and lunch, go gradually, eventually maybe you'll add some in at dinner. And then the real higher levels, which takes years, is people do 2 meals a day. But not even I do 2 meals a day, so that's the real advanced fruit practitioner level. So thank you for watching. If you want to learn more about this stuff, you can go to fruitfest.co.uk and join the mailing list there. It's a weekly mailing list. I usually send an email out at least once or twice a week, sometimes 3 times. Just keeping in touch with people, sending them out some useful stuff. We're probably not going to open up the Fruit Fest for registration for a while. We might open it up for a very limited period for people that want to pay over 12 months, but I'm not sure about this. The Fruit Fest is probably from now on going to be a relatively... It's an event that I had this aspiration at first. It's going to grow and grow and grow, and it's going to get to thousands of people and all that. But now I'm kind of thinking, I want to perfect it for a smaller level before I try and expand it bigger. So Fruit Fest might be a bit limited in terms of tickets. I've already got lots of people signed up already for next year. But anyway, thank you for watching. Fruit is the truth. Move towards more fruit. It doesn't mean don't eat vegetables, but it means, it's likely that you're under-eating on fruit and not under-eating on vegetables. So thank you very much. See you in another video.